Thank you for coming today. In the House of Representatives, we often pass resolutions designating a certain week as a week of awareness for a particular disease. However, once the resolution is passed, there's often no follow-up to actually bring awareness of that disease to the people of Pennsylvania. So I felt in the case of mitochondrial disease, it was important not only to pass the resolution, but to do all I can and all we can to bring some enhanced understanding of this tragic disease. I first got involved in this when a constituent of mine had a child with mitochondrial disease, and I got to know her. Her name was Lisa, and I got to learn about the disease and understand how tragic it is. And one of the things, and I'll talk about research funding, but one of the things that is important when we try to bring awareness to a disease is, knowing this, that some of these diseases are called boutique diseases because they're very rare, and it's very difficult for boutique diseases as opposed to heart disease or cancer to get any sort of decent funding at all, which is why awareness is particularly important for this disease. Mitochondrial disease results from failures of the mitochondria, specialized compartments present in every cell of the human body except red blood cells. Mitochondria are responsible for creating more than 90% of the energy needed by the body to sustain life and support growth. When they fail, less and less energy is generated within the cell. Cell injury and even cell death follows, and as this process is repeated throughout the body, whole systems begin to fail. And the life of the person in whom this is happening is severely compromised. The disease primarily affects children, but adult onset is becoming more and more common for reasons that I don't think we understand fully. Diseases of the mitochondria appear to cause the most damage to cells of the brain, heart, liver, skeletal muscles, kidney, and endocrine and respiratory systems. Depending on which cells are effective, symptoms may include loss of motor control, muscle weakness and pain, gastrointestinal disorders and swallowing difficulties, poor growth, cardiac disease, liver disease, diabetes, respiratory complications, seizures, visual hearing problems, developmental delays, and susceptibility to infection. I mean, you can see that this is a potentially globally catastrophic disease for a person. Now, in America, every 30 minutes, a child is born who will develop mitochondrial disease. The United Mitochondrial Disease Foundation was created in 1996 by parents of affected children. The UMDF exists to promote research and education for the diagnosis, treatment, and hopefully eventually cure of mitochondrial disease and mitochondrial disorders generally, and to provide support to affected individuals and families. The national headquarters of UMDF is right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and there are 14 chapters across the United States. In 2008, UMDF funded more than $1 million in research. Since its beginning, the UMDF has funded more than $6 million worth of research towards a cure. But it's important to note that that is a small percentage of the research money that is needed in order to effectively find a cure for this disease.